What is this bugaboo of karma? It might not be what we have been told it is. A good-hearted student of mine recently explained that he read somewhere the Buddha created no good karma. Well, you know, opinions are like elbows. Most everybody has one. But there's a difference between a random opinion and a qualified opinion. So what is karma? Literally translated from the Sanskrit or from the Pali, Sanskrit being karma, Pali being kama, simply action. Now, superstitious and controlling folk throughout the millennia have told us that if we do not act with remarkable ethical precision, we'll be tortured horrendously in this life and in other lives by the machinations, the cruel machinations of karma. To be kind of playful about it, karma's gonna get you if you don't watch out. But is that really what Buddha was intending to teach? Was Buddha attempting to manipulate us into being good people out of fear, out of consequences? There is a vast corpus of Buddhist literature. Not everything claiming to be the words of Buddha are the words of Buddha. According to both the Sutta of the Kalamas de Lama as well as the Parinibbana Sutta, the test of the teachings is not how old they are or who gave them. Test of the teachings is not whether they were given by a beautiful person, a wealthy person, a prestigious person, a charismatic person. The test of the teachings is not whether we agree with them. The test of the teachings is not whether they make sense to us or appeal to us intellectually, emotionally, viscerally, or intuitively. According to both those very old writings, the only test of the teachings are the effects they generate when we consistently and correctly apply them to our lives. Now, the reason that may be true is not because that teaching comes from an old book written by that claims they're written by a very noticeable person. The reason those teachings are relevant is that they resonate with science. A recent retired astronaut said that when they launch a rocket, the astronauts don't cross the fingers. They don't rub a lucky rabbit's foot. Why? Because they have gone through the excruciatingly detailed process of submitting every direct and indirect factor related to that launch to the rigors of the scientific method. In a nutshell, the scientific method is you begin with a hypothesis. You then hopefully devise a sound experimental process. You accurately make observations of the results generated by that process. You submit the results of the process to peer review, and hopefully those results can be replicated. When those results have been replicated sufficiently, then your findings have more credibility. Of course, your credibility also depends upon the sample size and the very structure of the experiment. But that's the essence of the scientific process. Based upon peer-reviewed, replicated findings, we then create or either modify pre-existing hypotheses or come up with new hypotheses, and once again, put them into the mill of the scientific process. That process has given us open heart surgery. It has put humans on the moon and given us these lovely little smartphones that work every time you turn them on, provided they're not broken or out of energy. The complexity of our technological society is proof of the efficacy of the scientific method. When we apply the scientific method to spiritual teachings, we can notice that motivation matters. If we do the right thing out of fear of a punishment, different parts of our brain will light up. If we do the right thing out of love or empathy, other parts of our brain light up. This can be seen on a functional magnetic resonance image or an fMRI. It has been shown that when we as humans habitually act from our fear centers, our lives are completely different than if we act from our empathy centers. Fear can access our intelligence. Empathy can access our intelligence, but with radically different results. If we wish to be happy, if we wish to be a productive member of society, if we wish to be creative, if we wish to be resilient and peaceful and fulfilled, we must move through life from the empathetic paradigm as opposed to the fear paradigm. We must abandon cowardice and competition and cruelty in favor of intelligent cooperation and compassion. When we look at the historical record of the Buddha, whether he was a real flesh and blood person, whether he was a complete myth who serves merely as an archetype for us today, regardless, we see that he spent many years striving to help people. That, by its very definition, is a positive action. This individual, real or imagined, made such an impact that statues glorifying his accomplishment are found on every populated continent. Now, the mere presence of a statue does not mean every myth is true, but it means it is important to us. There is something about the story, whether it is a history or whether it's a myth, something about the story of the Buddha that speaks to all human beings. All human beings, it would seem, have a longing for greater peace, greater resiliency, greater resourcefulness, greater creativity, greater love. At the very least, the myth of the Buddha serves as a message that someone born of flesh, blood, and bone, just like you and me, can become something much, much more. We can transform. We can make that journey without coercing ourselves with fear. Simply using the right techniques and accessing the part of our brain, the limbic system, shared by all mammals, a portion of which is the seat of empathy. Therefore, whether someone who might or might not have existed did anything positive becomes a moot point, revealing a more salient question. What am I doing to make the world a better place? Am I doing it ironically by slipping into the path of yang, by slipping into the path of patriarchy, by slipping into the path of being manipulative and controlling and coercive? Or am I following the path of yin, the path lauded by Lao Tzu, the author of the Tao Te Ching, and echoed by the Buddha? By cultivating my own peace, my own wisdom, my own love, am I creating a momentum that passively helps others become their better self? Karma is not what we've been told it is. Karma is just action. And every day we can set aside maybe 5 minutes every morning, maybe 5 minutes every evening to cultivate greater peace, greater acquiescence, greater compassion. I've been Lama Jigme Gyatso for the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Before you go, below the video is a button that reads Show More. When you click that, you can gain access to resources that could assist you upon your contemplative journey.